Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson, here and back at us again with another episode. Is our co-host Irv. We're here on season 7, episode number 28 on the Fire Sports Pod. We are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. And we're going to be getting into the show I have for you guys for this Friday afternoon. It is currently 5 o'clock p.m. here on the eastern side of the U.S. We're going to be going over two segments. We got Cowboys. They added George Pickens. I'll be doing some TikToks later on about that, but added George Pickens. How does that affect the Cowboys offense in general? And could we see a different type of George Pickens now with the Cowboys than he did with the Steelers? And we'll go into detail on how we think that there was definitely something behind the scenes that had to deal with the Steelers letting go George Pickens for a 3rd and 5th round pick, which to me, I think is absurd that you can let go a great player like that for that little compensation back from the other team. And then finally, we'll be going to go over our NBA playoff recap for our bracket and what's been happening so far in the playoffs and how we might think some of the playoff series might go a different direction or stay the direction that they're going. So let's get right into it, Irv. We're going to start with the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm going to let you hit it off with going over what was the report on that you had earlier today.
All right. So, according to Adam Schefter, a little bit of details surrounding the Steelers Cowboys trade. The Steelers would receive a 2026 third round pick and a 2027 fifth round pick, and then the Cowboys would receive wide receiver George Pickens and a 2026 sixth round pick. So, to me, just watching this in reaction basically just shows that, you know, that he was literally traded for a pile of chips, in my opinion. Like, for a 3rd and a 5th round pick, that's pretty absurd for George Pickens. But hey, happy for the Dallas Cowboys. I know you guys were missing another offensive weapon, mainly in the guys did make it up by getting a former number 1 option back in the Steelers. I think, having this guy in your team it's a really big plus, especially for Dak coming off of an injury. You also have CeeDee Lamb, who was arguably a top 3 receiver in the NFL. So, it's pretty nice, and it's pretty cool to see how the Dallas Cowboys finally have another offensive threat here in the NFL. So moving on to our next segment about the Dallas Cowboys, we just kind of want to talk about what we were talking about before the podcast, Zach, that we were saying, oh, so what was the real reason why the Steelers would get rid of Pickens? Now, obviously, I have a theory in mind. I have just a little bit of a back from just observing, because initially when the reports came out that Seattle traded, I don't know if traded or just gave up DK Metcalf to the Steelers, there was a bunch of comments that I've been reading about it, and then they basically said that Pickens and Metcalf would make the locker room extremely uncomfortable because you have two ego people going at it, and that would not make the locker room environment good. So one of my theories is that Pittsburgh just wanted to get rid of Pickens. They had to pick between the person they just acquired over and then Pickens. Obviously, DK Metcalf had a pretty decent season in Seattle. And bringing
Feels like
him,
he always does. Feels like he always has a solid season, not like a crazy ass season, but he usually has like a solid season almost every year. I think he had one bad season, bad season, but other than that, pretty solid years. He's been in the NFL, but nothing crazy. Like, we expected this guy to come in here and dominate the NFL. I haven't seen like a massive season, like a Tyreek Hill season, like a Justin Jefferson season, like a CeeDee Lamb season. I haven't seen that yet, and I'm waiting for that. Maybe I think with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and if you add Aaron Rodgers, that will work out. But continue what you were saying.
No, no. So I was just saying that the Steelers probably just had to pick their guy because if you think about it long term, they're gonna have to pay, a multi-year deal to both of these wide receivers, and probably close to 100 mil as well, because I
Mhm.
think Pickens and DK Metcalf are both worth over 100 million for a multi-year contract. And on top of that, you're probably gonna have to pay what 50-60 million for Aaron Rodgers to play for a year there.
Yeah,
So,
so less
I
that
think
much.
this was also just another money move as well. I don't think they
Mhm.
wanted to pay for Pickens' contract moving forward, because I think it was going to expire. When does it expire?
I
I'm
think it
not.
expired after this year, or it already did. I don't know. I forgot what they had to do.
Yeah, same. So I just think it was just a money issue. I mean, they're getting rid of a lot of. I mean, they got rid of Najee Harris. He's in the Chargers right now. Justin Fields also moved as well to New York. So the Steelers are trying to save their bread, trying to just get rid of people that obviously are worth a lot. But I just think for a third and a fifth round pick, I just don't think that he was worth that much. But go ahead, Zach, if you have any
Yeah, so
comments
like
about
I
that.
said, obviously, Irv's coming from the side of just being a fan of the NFL. I'm actually a Cowboys fan, but like I said on multiple podcasts and multiple times, I'm not a biased one. I know when my team sucks, and I know when my team is good. I don't know. Coming into this year, we got a new coach. I'm not so crazy about the coach. Didn't really want him. Don't really like the transactions we did in free agency before the draft. I like the draft. Wish we would have went with a wide receiver, but now obviously we answered the call with that, adding George Pickens. I think that brings in a different swagger to our team, a more of a on the head type of thing. Like we have CD Lamb. But CeeDee Lamb's not that guy who's going to get into a physical altercation. I think we're missing that. And a lot of teams, yes, obviously we don't want fights and stuff like that, and fines and suspensions, but we're missing the dog. We have a
Like an
lot of guys
enforcer.
in an enforcer, and obviously we have Micah on the defense, but we don't have that type of guy on the offensive side. Like CeeDee Lamb is not a guy who's just going to drop the helmet and to start throwing hands like for against anybody. Pickens is that
Exactly.
guy, and I think we needed that adjustment. We needed that fire. And I think he adds a lot to our team. He adds a deep ball threat. He adds some good route running. He's an aggressive wide receiver that can catch the ball, very similar to CeeDee Lamb. Not obviously, I'm not comparing the two. CeeDee Lamb is definitely better, but getting him as a second option, which on most teams he would be a first option, I think is very good. And the Cowboys finally did something that they said they were going to do, and they went through with it.
Hmm.
So the last thing we need to do is really just hold down Micah and get him signed to a contract, which he's going to be probably the highest paid defensive guy in the NFL in history.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
we're looking for that. But like I said, I'm happy we got him in a trade. We really didn't have to pay anything. We'll definitely have to pay him next year. But we'll worry about that. I think we're just going all in, and we got to see what we can do. But again, I don't mind it. I like it. I think this is definitely, especially for what we gave up. It was a sixth round pick from the Pittsburgh Steelers in exchange for a third pick and a 2027 fifth round pick. Um, and waived wide receiver Seth Williams. So the Cowboys got a sixth round pick and George Pickens for a third and a fifth. I think that's really good. And then to look at just our offense, we have Javonte Williams in the backfield. We have Miles Sanders we picked up in the backfield, the dual threat. You got Dak. You got the new additions of the offensive line from the draft. You also bring now George Pickens. That besides him with CeeDee Lamb, you have still Devontae Turpin, best returning man in the league, as well as a slot receiver as well, speedster. So you got Ferguson. You got Schoonamaker, the guy we picked up from Michigan last year. So we got definitely a great squad when it comes to wide receivers. Not to mention we have some other young guys that can fill in the void. Um, we just have to see. We got Aubrey as our kicker, so that's our offense. Anger as our punter, two of the best in the league. So like I said, our offense doesn't look bad. Our defense doesn't look bad either. So we'll see how it goes. I just hope that we just don't have a shitty season like we did last year, because last year was pretty embarrassing to watch the Cowboys.
Hmm.
Even with Dak or without Dak, it just doesn't look good, and it doesn't look good almost half the time when I watch them every year. We either fall against good teams in the playoffs, or we don't make it because we just suck during the regular season because of bad decision making. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the Cowboys. Again, like I said, I'm not going to go into too much depth because there's really not much really else to go into. Because again, I need to see now. Now there's no more talking. We just have to wait and see how they do. If they decide to actually get their head out of the sand and make some noise, then hopefully they can do that. If not, then we'll have another disappointing year as always.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a realist of a Cowboys fan. I'm gonna say it as it is. It's been rough watching it, especially for me, as I know my dad and my family members who are Cowboys fan. They were able to watch the glory days with Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, and Emmett Smith, Roger Staubach, and all them. But
A lot of greats.
I have not been able to watch my Cowboys get even close to the NFC Championship game, or even get to the NFC Championship, nor the Super Bowl. So, I definitely think it's something you got to wait and see. But other than that, I do like the move, and I'm happy we actually did something that we said we were going to do. But other than that, do you have anything else to add, Irv?
Not just I'm no hater. You know what I mean? I like the Dallas Cowboys. I like them because of the history. I like them because they're a quote unquote America's team. So
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know about
wishing
that
them the
anymore.
best. For real,
I
but
don't know about that, but
I just wish them the
I
best.
appreciate
I
that.
wish.
I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, I just wish the Cowboys the best in what they do and stuff, and hopefully, they could get some results this season, at least to versus probably Tampa in the NFC Championship.
Oh, that would be nice. That would be nice. But then,
Yeah.
I can't root for Tampa. I can't root for Tampa. I can root them to get there.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're gonna move to what you guys really want to hear, because who wants to hear about the Cowboys, right? Everyone doesn't like them. So let's share our screen. Let's start talking about some NBA. If you guys are new to the line, don't forget to drop a follow as well as a like and a share. And yeah, so let's get rocking into this NBA, because man, do we have just in general, like I said the last time you were on the podcast, or maybe I did, or maybe I didn't. But I think the NBA right now, playoffs wise, is fantastic. Even that Lakers series where we lost 4-1, every game except for one game was close.
Yeah.
Everything was blowout. I mean, every game was close except for like one or two games. Denver series, every game was close, but two games.
Yeah.
Thunder series, one game was a blowout. Every other game was close. I mean, Memphis should have.
Actually, I think I don't. I think the first was it a blowout?
No,
Like
like
the
I said,
oh it
one
was
game was a blowout, and then the rest were close because Memphis only lost
yeah
by a little bit. Especially second game was a bit of a blow. It was like 15, but after that, like the last two games they played in Memphis was very close. They should have won both of those games. They ended up losing. And then Rockets Warriors, that game was maybe one or two games that were blowouts. Everything else was close. And same thing for the East. The Cavs series, that game was all blowouts. Pacers Bucks, all those games were close. Knicks Pistons, same there. Celtics Magic, they were actually closer than I anticipated it to be. So again, I think we've had some great physical series, some great scoring series. Just overall, I think the playoffs have been fantastic. But let's get right into it.
yeah
So first off, we're going to start in our West. Thunder Nuggets tied one game apiece. I have the Thunder winning in 6 games. After game 2, I just said on a limb here on the podcast before. I said that game 1 was a fluke. The Thunder never should have lost that game. They kept giving the Nuggets chances. They should have just ran it off. Second game, you saw. They blew them out by 43, dude. I think the Nuggets are good. They're not gonna get killed again like that. But I don't think they're winning the series. I think they get one game at home, and then that's pretty much it. I think they only win 2 games, and Thunder win 4. So I think the Thunder win 3 out of the next 4. If I'm being honest, and I think they win in 6 games. The Thunder. I just like the way the Thunder's been playing. Even after game 1, still game 1, they were playing well. They just couldn't get the ball in the basket. And I think they fouled very early, way too early in that game one. They were fouling with 13 seconds left, up by 3. You just kept giving the Nuggets chances and chances and chances, and somehow something was going to go wrong. Chet missed 2 free throws, and they ended up winning the game. So I think that Nuggets Thunder series is great, but I got the Thunder winning in 6. Game 3 is tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. So take a look at that. And then, so what's your thoughts on that series?
I think that Thunder Nuggets series is actually a pretty good one. But clearly, you can already tell that the stars weren't really out for the Thunder. I mean, for the excuse me, the Nuggets. Just because
But do you think that's
Russ.
defense though, or is that just missed shots?
I honestly wholeheartedly think that it's just a mix of both. I
Okay.
think that defensively, I think the Thunder are definitely up there in terms of defense. I mean, they have a lot of defensive weapons, even for the perimeter, even inside the paint as well. I feel like all 5 positions could play defense in their respective spaces. But I also think that I think it's just a lot of missed shots as well. I mean, if you really look at it, out of I mean, out of 36 free throws,
Mm-hmm.
the Thunder made 33 of them. So that's already what they said they blew out by, bless you. They
43.
said about 43. So automatically 33 right there. That could have been a big deficit as well. Like, cut that lead down to about what, like 10.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, out of 32 free throws for the Nuggets, they only made 25. So I just think it's just a lot of missed shots. I just think that, a lot of shots weren't going in. I mean, Jokic finished with, I think,
17.
17 points. Russell Westbrook was the leading scorer with 19, and
He's
he
been
wasn't
doing
even
good.
shooting. He wasn't even really shooting the rock well either. Um,
Well, let's get to everything straight. He hasn't been shooting the rock very
that
relatively.
yeah, he
He left
hasn't, and
Houston.
so I personally think that I just think defensively the Thunder had a really good game. I wish I would have watched the game so I could really like give I guess give
Trust
my
me,
point more.
I don't think you wouldn't want to watch that. That shit was so.
I no I'm not going to lie, when I was going to put the game on, but then when I saw that the Thunder were up by like 25, I was just like, yeah, I don't know. This game is already looking boring.
Yeah, no, it was bad. It was really bad. It was really boring.
So in my opinion, I did say I have the Nuggets in 7 because I think the Nuggets could take them to 7. Because I think game 1, I don't think it was a fluke necessarily because I feel like it would happen again. I think, the Thunder at home, Paycom Arena, I really think that they just needed this game to win, just kind of wake themselves up a little bit. But it goes both ways as well. That means now the Nuggets are going to wake up. They're going to realize, okay, well, we got blown out by 43. This
Mm.
is clearly an issue in a playoff game where we have potentially the MVP of this season, to you know that is playing for us, and we're going up against a young Thunders team still, and they just dropped a 43 like point win on us, and I really think that it goes to both ways. I really think that the Nuggets going back to Denver, I think they're gonna probably lock in the next 2 games. Maybe they might take one. They might do another split again. I have them in 7, so it's gonna be a really good. It's gonna be a really good series. I think both teams are now waking up, and yeah, can't wait to watch Game 3 tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a night. All right, so now we got that. I still have them in 6 for the Thunder to win. Tomorrow you have Timberwolves versus the Warriors, Game 3 in the Chase Center. I'm gonna go on a limb here. Like I said, I don't know if you were trolling or you actually being serious, but I can't see the Warriors winning both games at home without Steph. I think the Timberwolves get at least one. So I got the Timberwolves to win um game 3 tomorrow, and then you guys to win game 4 to tie up the series to go back to Minnesota, and then Minnesota would win game 5, and then if Steph Curry comes back, hopefully by Game 6, I got you guys winning Game 6, and then Timberwolves would close it out in 7 at their house. That's how I have it going. I just think that you guys are. If Steph Curry didn't get injured, I have you guys probably winning this series. Even if I picked the Timberwolves to win it, I probably would have ate my words because I think nonetheless, I think Steph Curry was going to have like a 40-point performance on Game 1 because he had like freaking 16 to not almost 16 to 15 points in the first quarter. So like I really thought like he was going to go off, and it looked like the shots that he was making, everything was looking smooth. So like I said, if he's able to come back earlier, then things might change. But if he's coming back Game 6, like you said, from Shams, according to him, I don't know, dude. It's gonna be tough. You guys have to. Jimmy Butler has to play Jimmy Butler. I haven't seen him like really play Jimmy Butler style. Maybe for 1 or 2 games in that Houston series, but other than that, like you need him. You need him to like get back into that form. Jimmy Buckets, like he's being so passive. I don't get it. I get you want to fit in, you want to get everybody involved, but dude, and no more fitting in. You need to win. If you don't win this series, you're going home. So like, I don't know what's happening there. So I hope that he gets more aggressive, and I hope Draymond just stops freaking complaining, dude. Holy gee, another tech.
So
But I get why. I know you were about to say. I get why. I don't think it was a technical foul. I don't think that's a normal thing. You go like this and the hand comes down. I hate that call. I don't think it's the right call. But yo, you need to know when to calm down, bro. Like he is 2 technical fouls away from getting suspended. Like
yeah,
you don't need
I mean, it's just to comment on it. It was the same thing for that Rockets Warriors thing. Everything that Draymond did, like all of a sudden, was like a flagrant act. Like I get it, Draymond's a little extra sometimes, right? And that's the Draymond that we all know and love. But at the same time, there's people that I've seen in the game. I wish I remember who, because there was literally something similar that happened where the player had the ball right here, and I actually think it was. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember who exactly, but basically, pretty much like he had the ball like this, whatever, triple threat,
yes.
and then he swung his elbow and it hit like right here in the chin. I forgot who though, and then they just called like a foul or whatever. And then it was like they did a replay to see if it was a technical foul or unnecessary roughness or whatever, and it just stayed as a regular offensive foul because we know elbow whatever. And I looked at that and I was like, if that was Draymond Green, because something similar happened
he would be
when
protected.
same thing happened, I believe in Game 3 or Game 4, where Draymond Green had the ball right here, and I guess he was either foul baiting, I don't know what. But the minute he felt Fred VanVleet's hand right here, he just threw his hands up to sell the call, obviously. But he threw it like this, and then his elbow, for some reason, connected with VanVleet right after he put his arms back. And
Yes,
then
I
they
saw that.
called like I don't know if it was a flagrant foul, but they called a technical foul on Draymond Green for unnecessary roughness. So on top of that, there's already a narrative going into these games that Draymond Green will be targeted, and that's because of his history of playing hard and all that stuff. Now, enough said. Now, this is my take. If Jimmy Butler can carry that Miami Heat team, I'm not saying they were all scrubs. They were all good. They were all good players, But if you're telling me that he could carry that team to 2 NBA finals since 2020, since the bubble, he could 100% carry this Warriors team. Shooting wise, I think we are better. Playmaking wise, I think we are better than the Heat, especially in the teams that he was in.
I'd say
I think
defensively, I would give
I
them
think
give the Heat
I
that.
think defensively, I'll lean a little bit towards the Heat only because they have Bam Adebayo in the paint. We have Draymond Green, but he's either a hack or they just don't call anything.
Yeah.
So realistically, I'll lean a little bit towards defense on Miami Heat, but there's really not much of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
The only big difference is that you have a 6'9", 7'3" wingspan in Bam Adebayo who protects the paint pretty clean, and then you got a 6'7", 7'3" wingspan Draymond Green who either gets called for a flagrant foul for playing good defense, or he plays tough defense and he just gets no, and it's just a no call. So if Jimmy Butler could just play consistently, if he could play at a consistent level the same way he played in Miami, we can easily take this series to 7 games and we could win it in 7 games. People think, oh, Curry's out, and when Curry's out, the Warriors are ass. Clearly, we saw in the other game that they got blown out pretty bad.
Well, they only
But
lost by 7.
I mean, still, I think
It
we
could
could
have
have
been
definitely
way
done
worse.
better.
It
It
could
could,
have.
but I think we could have played better.
Oh,
We
I
lost by we
definitely think.
lost we
I'm
lost
not.
by 14, but you know I think we could have done. I think we could have done better. I
Oh, I
mean,
agree.
Buddy Hield is my biggest concern right now because he's been doing terrible. He would be doing terrible, and he's been hitting his shots on a consistent basis. He's been hitting his shots. Jonathan Kuminga was our leading scorer with almost 20 points. That's really sad to see. You know what I mean? And we played our entire bench. Quentin Post only played like 3 minutes. I think he was out for an injury. I'm not too sure. Draymond Green. I want him to facilitate more, take less threes. He had 6 threes, only made one of them.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
I do not like those odds. I do not like those odds. I need Pods to get into a better groove. It's just a bunch of things. If Jimmy Butler could at least give us 25, Buddy Hield 15, Kuminga 15, Draymond Green at least a solid 12, Pajemski 15. If our whole starting lineup could at least get close to 15 points each, besides Jimmy, we could 100% win the game because they could all play defense. All 5 positions could play defense.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of, us scoring on the other side. Anthony Edwards has been on a slump. And if he goes to Chase Center, he's probably going to be even more of a slump because he was like that at Target Arena where the Wolves play at. So I got Warriors taking the next 2 games. Maybe it's a little biased. I don't know. But if I'm being frank, we could definitely beat them. I mean, Moses Moody, who's been a starter for us as well, has not been performing well either. He went 0-5 from the field completely. He's supposed to be a 3-and-D guy. So I don't know. I got Warriors taking the next 2, but for tomorrow's game, I got them taking that game. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be close, but I feel like Butler is going to understand his assignment. I think Draymond Green's going to understand his assignment. Pajemski, the whole starting 5, Kuminga, everybody's going to understand their assignment, and we're going to push through.
All right. Sounds good. Now we're going to be moving on to the East. Cavaliers versus the Pacers. This is going to be the craziest comeback in NBA history. Watch this shit. The Cavs are down 2-0. They should be up 2-0 or at least 1-1.
They should be up 2-0.
They should, but let's say game 1 happened. Game 2 they should have won. How the hell are you up 7 points? Max
30
Strus
seconds left.
decides to throw a turnover up 3. No. Yeah, up 3. He throws a turnover. Halliburton gets it to the free throw line, makes one or whatever the hell it is, makes one, misses the second, gets his own rebound, which Donovan Mitchell should have grabbed. He was right there. Step back 3 and bangs it for the win, 120-119. How do you lose the game? This wasn't as bad as the Pacers beating the Bucks and the Bucks throwing it away like they did, But the Cavs, man, they had it. You messed up a masterclass of Donovan Mitchell scoring 48 to 50 points that game. They should have won. He was doing everything. Jerome was playing great. Everyone was going nuts. That arena was going crazy. Now they're down 2-0. To go back to Indiana is going to be very tough to beat them. But I'm sorry, the way how the Cavs played and the way without Garland, without Evan
Mobley.
Mobley, without Hunter, they were able to basically should have won that game. If both of them are back, everyone's ready to roll. I got Cleveland tying up the series 2 straight in Indiana. 2-2. I got the Cavs winning. So
right. No, I get what you're
I'm
saying.
staying with my picks. I'm not gonna change my thing because the way the series is. So I'm thinking the Cavs could potentially win 4 straight. Potentially. And win in 6 games. There's a potential. There's a potential. It is.
It is a potential, but that means game 6 will have to be played in Indiana.
I know. And if they don't, then they play it in Cleveland. But again, I still have the Cleveland Cavaliers advancing. So no matter where the series goes, as long as I have the team winning past, I'm good. I'd like them to win in 6, but we'll see. I just think that the Cavs are not playing their best basketball, and they should have won both games.
No, they've been playing their best basketball.
But without Garland, without Mobley, and without
Hunter, in the first game they were playing
well, no,
good.
that was different. I meant like game 2.
So game 2, they played really well because I think they were up by 15 plus.
Yeah, they were up by 15 plus. But I'm saying like they're playing that well without 2 of 3 of their stars. Imagine if they had those 3. What the score, instead of it being a 19, 20-point game, what the score would have been if all 3 of them were there.
It's just, you want to know something? And I've realized this while watching the Pacers play. Their entire team is too deep. It's too deep of different players and different mixtures and different play styles. Like, you have to understand that these people think that the Pacers are scrubs, but then they forget to realize that last season. No, I'm not saying you are, but I'm just saying like people are just underestimating the Pacers a lot. They have a tremendous starting 5, and then although, like, I just feel like the entire team understands their role. Like when TJ McConnell checks into the game as the backup point guard, you think he's worried about how many points he's going to score? No. What he's worried about is his playmaking and his defense. That's the only thing. And if he's wide open, he's going to shoot it. If he has a wide open lane, he's going to attack. But he understands his role. Thomas Bryant, you think he's out there to score? No, he's out there to play, his role as the backup center. And then you also have Siakam, Nimhard, Mathurin, who started on the bench yesterday, who's usually a starter but started on the bench, and then Halliburton, and then Neesmith, and then Miles Turner. Like this Pacers squad, like they're really good, and Neesmith especially. I heard a story last year where he changed his role in the Pacers, where he used to be a scorer to now just a defender. So he's technically like a 3-and-D guy, an offense, like a two-way guy. And he's established that because guess who's guarding Donovan Mitchell? He is. Although Donovan Mitchell dropped 50 last game, but he still got the important stops. He still, he was still defending him and he didn't let that 50-point drop like discourage him. And that's what I like about basketball. And we're going to talk about this when we talk about the next 2 teams right there, because that's a conversation that I want to talk about. But what I like about this playoff specifically, that a team could stare down a 20-point deficit and that just wouldn't phase them at all. So let me just finish up right here with the Pacers and Cavs. Indiana has a really tough fan base. I love the fan base down there in Indiana. I do have the Cavs. I had the Cavs winning in 5, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just. I don't think I'm much. I don't know. I guess I could change it because there goes my prediction. So
I don't think you should change the team, but you could change the games.
Whichever it may be, I'm gonna just take it one step at a time, at least with the Cavs and Pacers, because this is blowing my mind. But I got Pacers winning the next game First game in Indiana. I
We go up
hope
3-0.
I like the momentum. I think that game winner really surprised
Do you
everybody,
think they
including
sweep
them.
them?
I don't know if it's a sweep. I think they could
Wow.
probably take it in 6 games. But when teams are down or up 2-0, I think there's only been how many teams?
It's like an 85% chance that you win the series if you're up 2-0.
Yeah, because I think only 5 teams have
Yeah,
came
I've ever
back from
came
a
back
from a
2-0.
from a 2-0 deficit.
I won the series. No, I get what you're saying, and I'm cool with that. I don't know, man. It feels like Donovan Mitchell is one of the most unluckiest of
He
superstars
is.
in the
He
NBA.
is.
I don't think it's this
Yeah.
year though. I think he gets past it. I'm sorry. I'm going on a limb here. I'm
I
sticking with
mean, bro, to be down 2-0 to Indiana, like
you.
I know
Just said
what I
they're not
said.
scrubs.
They're not scrubs. You're talking about a team. You're talking about the Cavaliers, who
Yeah, but
arguably
Indiana has
when they
played
pieced
well
everyone
against
together,
Boston.
they were predicted to go to the NBA
Yeah, but
finals.
if you look at
When you have that type of pedestal, when you have that type of momentum coming into the season, and then you show it by getting the number 1 seed over the reigning champs, the Celtics, you have a certain expectation you have to reach. Yes, you're right. Indiana are not scrubs.
and they
And
played
I'm
well against
standing on
Boston.
that. They're not. But for
They're
you to be down 2-0 and for Indiana to take 2 games in Cleveland, they're not scrubs, but at the same time, Cleveland should have not lost those 2 games, especially if you were up by a large margin.
in
Because I
game.
think in the first game, there was some point where they were on a run and they were up by 10,
Yeah.
11 points. And then all of a sudden, the Pacers came back. The Cavs are not finishing. They're
Well, the
not,
Bucks did the
you know what
same
I mean?
thing. The
Huh?
Bucks did the same thing. They were the two. Like, I don't know, man. I see what you're saying. You have great points. And I love the energy here, but like, I don't know, man. I don't think the Cavs go out, man. I don't think that. I don't think.
I don't think so. And I hope they don't. I hope I'm wrong.
Oh,
But I just love the momentum that the Pacers are having right now. And they're just Halliburton is with his chip on his
they're just
shoulder.
hooping, dude.
They're literally just hooping. And that's what I love to see, especially in NBA basketball. That's what I love to see. I love teams hooping, bro. And then Pacers are whipping butt right now. They're whipping ass right now, bro.
All right.
So I hope I'm wrong, but I'm gonna go and I'm gonna stay with that Pacers trend, bro. I think they might win game 3.
All right. So I got Cavs in 6. He's got Pacers in 6 now.
No, I don't have anybody in a
Oh, you
certain
don't have
amount of
nothing.
games.
Oh, okay.
I'm just taking it one game at a time because
All right.
after game 2, shoot, I'm not predicting anymore, bro.
I'm
I'm gonna
taking
take
the
it one
Cavs
step
in
at a
6
time,
still.
bro.
Let's go, Cavs, baby. All right.
Oof.
Knicks Celtics for the final thing of our show here today. This has had to be the most craziest series. It's even crazier than that Pacers and Cavs series. Who would have thought going to Boston? And hey, going on a limb here, I said New York will win the series. I did say that. I said the Knicks would win. Remember, we said, oh no. People were clowning the shit out of me in the chat. And you were like, oh, wow, Knicks in 7 after game 1. Oh, the game 1. It's just game 1. Well, what happened? Game 2 happened. Same thing. It was 73-53 in game 2 going into the third quarter. It was 75-55 in game 1. They came back from 20 down in 2 straight games to win the game on the last possession. Both times Boston had the ball to win the game or tie the game in the last possession. And Mikal freaking Bridges said, nah, not in my watch, and took that shit. It was like when Iron Man took the fucking gauntlet from Thanos in the end game and literally ripped that shit and said, no, I'm Iron Man. So like it kind of seemed like that. Stripped the ball from Jaylen Brown in game 1, blocked the shit out of Jason Tatum, and took the ball in game 2. The 2 best players on the team, he freaking schooled. So I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I don't think Boston wins 2 straight games in New York. I think the Knicks go up 3-1.
Ooh.
The Celtics come back, tie up the series.
No.
And the Knicks send because remember, I got to keep it in 7
Yeah,
games.
you got to keep it in 7, but
I'm going to say this is how it goes. Knicks get game 3 going back to New York. Boston gets on the board in game 4, and Boston's able to win 2 straight after that. So that means they win 3 straight after the Knicks win 3 straight. Tied up game 7 in Boston. Jalen Brunson, Mr. Clutch Player of the Year, ends Boston's season on a game winner. Just put it in there. Or Mikal Bridges gets the steal and puts it away for good. Something around those lines. But I got to keep it in 7 because my 7 games is still alive. So I'm going to stick with the Knicks in 7. I don't think the Boston Celtics are going out like this. And if they do, mark my words, even if we saw Denver, Coach Michael Malone, he won a championship 2 years out. I'm telling you, this would be the second year. No, Boston won it last year. I think Boston's coach is on the hot seat because out of the last 3 seasons, 2 out of the last seasons, they've done this before. They did this against your guys, I believe. Wait, Mazzulla, yeah. In the war, no, wait. No.
Yeah, Mazzulla was there.
With the Warriors, they had a lead. They lost it. They fumbled the bag. They won the championship last year, and then they came in and they did it again, and they're doing it again this year. So
not even that. Mazzulla was also there when the Miami Heat went to the finals.
Yep.
Yeah, when
they beat them, they came back. Yeah, so
they came back and beat them in 7.
In the last 4 years, Mazzulla lost an NBA Finals of being up 3-2 against Steph Curry and the Warriors. No, not 3-2.
No, they were up 2-1.
They were up 2-1. Going back, going into game 4 of that series, they lost it in the NBA Finals. Next year comes around, Eastern Conference, they're up, I think it's 3-1. Or it was 2-0. And the Miami Heat winning game 7 in Boston to send them home to go to the NBA Finals. Then they won the NBA championship in that 3rd season, beating who'd they play last year? Dallas. They played Dallas. They beat Dallas last year. So they're out of those 3 years, they're 1-2. Then this year, they're supposedly going to go on another run and get 2 straight NBA championships. And now they're down 2-0 going back to New York, with ultimately New York could sweep the shit out of them. It's going back to New York, baby. They could sweep them. I don't think it's going to happen, but potentially the Knicks could sweep the Celtics. Would not be surprised because the way the Celtics are playing, and Boston can't stop shooting threes when they're up by 20. I don't understand that. And can't make consistent shots and get good shots instead of bad shots. So again, I think Mazzulla is going to be on the hot seat. If he loses this series, I think Mazzulla is going to be on the hot seat. I really think. I think he might get fired potentially. He might get fired because it's all about what you do in the NBA playoffs. You're going to have all these great seasons. Ask Doc Rivers. Ask Doc Rivers how that feels with LA, always to the playoffs. Can't get out of the 1st or 2nd round. That Clippers had DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, Jamal Crawford. The list goes on and on. Matt Barnes. They had everybody. They couldn't make it out of the freaking 1st or 2nd round. But he had great seasons in the NBA regular season. So ask him how that feels. So I'm just letting you know. We saw it with Michael Malone. We saw it with Taylor Jenkins. We saw it with Mike Brown. 3 winning coaches on 3 franchises, the 3 most winning coaches. One had an NBA championship game. One took a team to the playoffs for the first time in over a decade, twice in 4 seasons. And the other guy was the winningest coach in Memphis history and has been keeping them afloat for the playoffs and consistent with it for the last 3 years. So I don't know. I don't know how we couldn't say Mazzulla is on the hot seat if he loses this series.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of videos, and there are a lot of people are saying that Mazzulla could be a Doc Rivers Jr. because after Doc Rivers won a championship, he's just been on a slump. Never went to the finals after that. So, but I don't think it's necessarily Mazzulla's fault. I'm not going to directly blame Mazzulla. He's an amazing coach. He's a terrific coach. I think his mentality is great. I think that literally Tatum on the floor complaining about, I don't know, getting hurt or something, and Mazzulla's already telling him, get up. Like, you're fine, you're good.
Yeah, against the Magic, yep.
So automatically Missoula is a really good coach. And if the Celtics decide to fire him, something's wrong with the NBA because there's a lot of good coaches who have success who are getting fired for no apparent reason just because of their players. And this is where I add my remarks to it. First of all, when we talk about comeback, the New York Knicks are absolutely the best team. Down 20 plus. Brunson, Hart, Towns, McHale, everybody, OG Ananobi, they all understood the assignment. You know, OG only had 5 points that game.
Yeah, he had that dunk that didn't count.
So that automatically tells you out of the 40 minutes that he played, he only walked out of there with 5 points. And you think that phased him? No.
No.
You want to know why? Because he held an all-star, not even a finals MVP, a man who's consistently said that he was going to be the face of the league. He held Tatum
right? Yeah.
to 13 points.
Yeah, that's bad.
Do you understand that Tatum had more rebounds than points?
Jesus Christ. How many rebounds do you have? 15?
14.
14, wow.
14 rebounds, and he had 13 points. He shot 5 of 19 from the field.
Jesus.
He shot 1 of 5 from 3.
Jesus.
So when we talk, if we're gonna
how many threes did they miss? How many threes did they miss as a team?
As a team, they shot 43s.
Gee, how many they
made
missed?
10 of it.
Oh my god, dude! They missed 45 the last game, and they missed 30 this game.
They shot 25% as a team in this game.
Geez.
So this goes without showing. I feel like Missoula is a really good coach. I think that he is a phenomenal individual. But I don't think it's mainly his fault. I think that it's the fault of his stars. If you're telling me you are supposedly the face of the league, supposedly, why in the world are you not stepping up to the plate? Why is it that Derek White, who is supposed to be the 3-and-D guy of that team, dropping more points than you? He is not a scrub. And I repeat, Derek White is not a scrub. He is a bucket. But that's not his role. In the NBA, for people to win championships, everybody has a role to play. That's why I go back to the OG Anunoby. Only with 5 points, but yet he still played and he still kept Jason Tatum from scoring 15. And then at the last play, Jalen Brunson gets fouled. Automatically, clutch player of the year, makes both of his free throws. Who has the ball? The scrub that was shooting terrible, only made 5 made shots. He has the ball. And you want to know what he does with the ball? You can already tell by his dribble, he's losing control of it. He goes and he drives, runs to the corner. He tries to bait the pass out. I don't know why, but he spun like a whole 360 because I guess he saw Jaylen Brown. I don't know.
Yeah, no. So that's what he did. So he went up for a fadeaway jump shot, falling out of bounds to the left side of the backboard. The left side of the sideline. And then at the last second, instead of shooting the fucking ball, why would he just shoot the ball?
You want to know why? Because Mikal freaking Bridges was right there with him. Mikal left. It was a risky play because he left Jaylen Brown by himself to play help defense. And wow, his length for him to get there automatically sealed the deal for the Knicks.
But how much that Knicks fans would have killed him if he would have made that and they passed and Jaylen Brown?
Probably, you know what? Probably because that was a risk. But guess what? He's a professional player. He is a defender as well. So I feel like he already knew Tatum is in motion. He's not thinking straight. He just wants to make the last shot. So what does he do? He see Tatum come over here. Okay, Brown is right here, right over here over my shoulder. Let me just contest. Let me get into the passing lane. ends up that he just ends up blocking the shot and the ball never leaves Tatum's hands. And that just sealed the deal. You have to understand something. Tatum is a flexible player. You want Tatum to play the 5? Okay, he'll play the 5. You want him to grab rebounds? Okay, he'll grab rebounds. You want him to play defense? He's pretty solid on defense. But what you need from Jason Tatum is to get those 25 plus. You need him to get 25 plus.
You need him to be the superstar that he claims.
There is no way that he was the all-star this year. I don't think, was Jaylen Brown an all-star this year, or did he get snubbed?
I think he got snubbed.
So, which goes to show your teammate got snubbed. You were selected out of this entire organization to be an all-star. You were a champion last year, and there was a reason why you weren't a Finals MVP. But we're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
You have the role to be the main scorer of the team, and everybody will respect that. Jaylen Brown respected it the entire season. Joe Mazzulla respected it the entire season. This man, Tatum, almost averaged 30 this season, bro. He averaged, I think, 24 or 25 points a game. That man could score 25. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on in Tatum's head. They literally are down 2-0. And this just goes to show I love NBA playoffs this year. NBA playoffs this year, before the Wolves tied it, before the before the Thunder tied it, all underdog teams were up 1-0. And now only 2 underdog teams are left, and these are the most unexpected teams. The Nuggets have a chance against the Thunder. The Warriors, supposedly when healthy, they have a chance against the Wolves. The Knicks haven't beaten the Celtics all season long. It was a season sweep.
And none of the games were close.
Exactly. Pacers, they're against the odds here because Cleveland, like I said before, they were placed on a pedestal. They were placed on a level where people had them going to the NBA Finals and winning. They had them beating the Celtics, who were champions last season. And people are like, no, Cleveland got it. That squad is great. That squad is crazy, blah, blah, blah. Now, I know injuries played a factor, but you can't blame injuries when you're up 10 in the first game. You can't blame injuries when you're up 20 in the second game and then allow a comeback. You can't blame injuries on that. The Cavs team, they were up 20. You can't blame injuries, bro. You can't. What you have to blame is the fact that your players can't finish. There's only one player that's scoring the second half. There's only one player that's still giving his all, and that's Donovan Mitchell, who almost finished with 50 points. And at the final play, you're going to blame Donovan Mitchell for not grabbing a rebound? Like, come on, bro.
Well, he blamed himself for that.
He did, but I feel like a lot of fans are going to be talking about, oh, he should have grabbed it, blah, blah.
He should have won the game before that. Max shouldn't have turned the ball over.
Exactly. And which goes to show, next game, going back to the Knicks series, I got the Knicks winning in Madison Square Garden. I know the Knicks have a habit, though. They have a habit of not winning at home.
Yeah.
They do not win at home. And you could see it. You could see it in the Pistons game. I think are both of those games that the Pistons won at MSG?
I believe so.
So they already have a habit against a scrub team. Well, pretty mid team.
I like that.
I'm not going to give them a good team. I'm going to say mid team.
I'm going good because they played really well, and if the ball bounces in the right direction, literally, if the ball bounces in the right direction, they winning that series. Malik Beasley has a ball in his hands, and he freaking dropped it and went out of bounds for a game win. Then you have Jalen Brunson. No, not Jalen. What was that game? Oh, then you had the game with Cade Cunningham where he drove to the basket, clearly got hacked, and they didn't call shit. Then they get the turnover. So there's 2 games right there. They played well enough. I'd give them the flowers. They could arguably be in this position against the Celtics, and they're a good enough team. I said that they wouldn't get past the Knicks because of their youth. Next year, like the Rockets, both of those teams in the West and the East are going to be freaking troublemakers in the season and come playoff time. Just
Yeah.
put it there.
Yeah, no, I agree with
Pretty much
that.
it.
I'm just
That's all I got
I'm
to
just
say.
saying, I'm just saying the sake of the argument, I'm just comparing the Celtics and the Pistons and
Yeah.
comparing the two.
If you're comparing the two,
Pistons are a mid team, and you conceded 2 games at MSG to the Pistons, and you technically won all your games in in Detroit. So, or majority of them. What I'm trying to say is that I do have the Knicks winning possibly game 3, possibly, or actually no. Wow, this is tough pick. Yeah. Okay, fine, whatever. I'm just picking the Knicks. I'm picking
I'm
the Knicks to
waiting
win
for
game
it.
3. Yeah, I'm picking the Knicks to win game 3, and I think the Celtics might take game 4. I don't know yet. I just need to see how Tatum performs. I need to see how Tatum plays.
I need
If
Tatum to become an all-star, man. Even I hate
if Tatum has 30, the Celtics are definitely gonna win. The Celtics are definitely gonna win. But
Oh, yeah.
so those are my picks.
All right. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for the show here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. Here we got today is our co-host, Irv. Back at another episode. This is it, guys. Season 7, episode 28. We'll be moving on to recap Monday next week, which would be season 7, episode 29, powered by StreamYard, where streaming makes the dream yard go. So stay tuned to that. I'll catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And
Yes,
hope you
sir.
guys have
Happy
a great
Mother's Day.
Sunday. And I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace out, guys. And we'll talk to you soon.